Hi everybody, this is another installment yet again of Chaos Magic 101. So we're going to be talking about something that is brought up a lot in a lot of Chaos Magic books I've read, and also in the Writers of Ostin Spar, which I'm going to make a whole video on him on one point because just of how influential Spar's writing was to the philosophy of chaos magic, indirectly. But the topic I'm going to talk about today is Thanateros and laughter. And we'll just hop right on into that. It's difficult to kind of explain exactly what Thanateros means specifically in chaos magic without going into more philosophical concepts. So Thanateros is kind of like a combination word of two Greek gods, Thanatos and Eros. For those of you who don't know, in Greek mythology, Thanatos is the literal embodiment of death. He's basically the Grim Reaper of Greek mythology. And Eros was the god of sexual love because the Greeks had different gods for different kinds of love. So it is significant that Eros was specifically chosen to represent this concept. And for Spar specifically, Thanateros was something that realizing it would directly bring you to the realization of what Kia is, which sounds very similar to how Hindus talk about moksha and samsara and all of that, but that side note kind of on the back burner for now. Peter Carroll also brings this up, but Carroll systematizes it a lot more, and there are a lot of stuff in Carroll's books, yes, books plural, that expands on this dualistic concept. And while we're not going to delve into today about exactly what Spar or Carroll says on the subject, it is useful to know exactly where to look to be able to kind of come up with your own interpretations and mentalizations of exactly what each author means when they talk about the concept of Thanateros. Why the focus on death and sex specifically, especially from Carroll, but Spar too. Some of you might think it's weird, maybe even a little perverted or something, but believe me, there is a theological reason for that. And in that, I'm going to point to La Santa Muerte, possibly Mexico's oldest spiritual love doctor. I say that because the oldest known mention we have of this entity specifically was in the 1700s, and according to research done by Andrew Chestnut, the specific prayer that was mentioned was for women to pray to her to get a man back, and fix their love. So they're asking death to improve a bond which culturally is meant to regulate sex, which is synonymous with perpetuating the birthing process of other human beings, which is part of the reason I think that Santa Muerte is also shown with Jesus, because Jesus was born to die for sin, and then he was reborn. And he's not the only figure who was reborn, but it is significant that such a figure is also shown with literal death. So what both Carol and Spar was getting at was that in the great binaries of reality is spectrums. So as far as writing specifically, Spar said that the existence of man and woman also implies androgenity, or as he put it, the hermaphrodite, based on a Greek god, Hermaphroditus. And then Spar went on further to say, but the existence of the androgynous also implies, as he terms it, the eunuch, or sexless. So that kind of focus on duality is meant to intertwine in such a way that it realizes the truth of the matter, which in chaos magic theory would be Kia, or chaos. It depends on how you verbalize it, which is why Carol says that some people calls chaos God or Tao. To focus a little more on Spar for a second, it is significant that the theory and or technique that Spar says is the death posture is also found in the Book of Pleasure. The Book of Pleasure focuses a lot on the sort of duality and the intertwining of it. So it's up to each person exactly to determine what this death posture is, both theoretically and in practice. But this is part of the reason why I encourage people who are interested in chaos magic to read Spar's work, maybe even more than Carol's work, even though Carol is considered the founder of the chaos magic theory, because a lot of the ideas are expressed more viscerally and in such a more open interpretation via the works of Spar. But we are going to jump back over to Carol to focus on a point he makes, which is laughter as its own opposite. Carol's point is that people laugh for a number of reasons. I put Buddha in there because there is some mythology on laughing Buddha, kind of like laughing off pain or something. I don't quite remember the details because I don't study Buddhism, but I'm sure people who are more well versed in Buddhist or are practicing Buddhists will be able to speak on this with more authority than I have. But that is one of the most popular examples of how laughter can be used to be seemingly opposite. If you're familiar with Gnosticism, there's also Laughing Jesus, where Jesus laughs at the disciples, and the disciples are bewildered because they don't understand that they're focusing on the wrong thing when it comes to spirituality. So, the thing with laughter is that what Carol is actually describing is an incongruous emotion. So, the bewilderment of laughter in these stories means that people ascribe a happy reaction to laughter, when in reality laughter can be a bewilderment or a challenge. It's very similar to when people say they have tears of joy. So it's that kind of incongruity. The thing with laughter is that it's the easiest emotion to express incongruously, because there are a lot of social expectations for when to laugh that are quite contrary to think about it. I mean, you can laugh very joyously, but people also associate strong laughter with that of evil. And in another chaos book, Chaos and Sorcery, it actually recommends that you laugh while doing a puppet spell to curse your enemy. And that's part of the reason why a lot of people who practice chaos magic, when they evoke an emotion, if it's not the emotion that matches exactly the spell work they're doing, it is very often laughter. So I hope that gives you food for thought. It's not a topic I see a lot of people talk about. I felt like for the beginner it was important to kind of explore and clarify a bit, because it is explored a lot in books. I just don't find it elsewhere online. So if you liked that, consider helping the channel out, liking and subscribing. I try to post a video every other Saturday. It'll usually be a book review, but I'm trying to sprinkle in this series and other series between those, so keep an eye out. And I hope to see you around.